The Redcoats are coming. The Redcoats are coming. For a state dinner at the White House and a ballroom would sure be helpful for such a large event. King Charles III arriving in Washington today as the U.S. and U.K.'s relationship is under strain. The Allies are currently clashing over Trump's ongoing push to seize Greenland for national security purposes, as well as the U.K.'s digital services tax on some of America's largest companies. And in the latest rift between the two, the U.K. restricted U.S. use of its military bases for offensive operations against Iran. For more, let's bring in former British Parliament candidate with the Brexit Party and Freedom Train International founder, Jim Ferguson. Jim, thanks for being with us tonight. Okay, so you got the King of England coming to the United States, kind of a Hail Mary attempt, I think, to get the relationship back on track. Do you think it's going to work?
Well, I certainly hope so, Brian. Delighted to be on with you again. And this isn't just a diplomatic mission. It's far more than that, because the United Kingdom and the United States have had the most important strategic relationship in the world. And King Charles brings stability and continuity out with the realms of politics. And it's very, very important that this meeting goes ahead. And of course, President Trump himself has demonstrated a willingness to re-engage, and hopefully this will then translate into further trade, security, and other shared values that we have between our two great nations.
So, Jim, the president has definitely said he thinks that the king could be of great help here. But can I ask you something? The UK just seems like a radically different place than the country with which the United States has had a special relationship for so long. Is it enough for the king to make a trip? Are the foundational issues right now that the UK faces too much for that relationship to continue the way it's been?
I believe that King Charles can bring that degree of stability. And I really do believe that both he and President Trump can help to overcome the tensions that have been caused by the British Prime Minister. And there is a real disconnect there. Of course, there is the issue of Diego Garcia and other military bases that Starmer refused to give access to our American allies. But I think that King Charles understands the importance of rebuilding that trust. And that's really what it boils down to, in particular, when you think about the national security and the intelligence apparatus, the Five Eyes Alliance, that important network between the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. It's incredibly important that we work together. And it's been a very successful relationship over many, many decades. The British Prime Minister hasn't helped, though, in his actions and his dismissing of President Trump, even to do with the Straits of Hormuz, when it was a question of international shipping, which our Prime Minister should have been all over and in full support of our President Trump, and indeed taking that forward. So I believe that King Charles is going to play a pivotal role here. And let's not forget that President Trump has huge love and respect for the British people. His mother is Scottish, stays not far away from where I stay in the Scottish Highlands when I'm there too. So I do believe that this is a very important mission, that he will have a developing of relationships that will take this further in a much more pragmatic way. But of course, it will depend on what happens after that. It will depend on whether that translates into real action.
Real quick, are the British people more with Keir Starmer, or do you think in their heart they're more with where President Trump is taking things? Last thought.
Definitely with President Trump. The British people love our American friends and allies. We actually really do value you. And I would say to our American friends, stick with it. You know, let's give King Charles the opportunity to get that special relationship back on the table. Don't pay too much attention to Starmer. I don't think he's going to be around for that much longer. But the United Kingdom and the United States will be for a long time. Let's hope we're doing it in partnership together.
All right. Well, we'll see what the king can do in his time in D.C., New York City, and Virginia, as I understand it. Jim Ferguson, good to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Brian. Bye-bye.